15. 1966 Ford Galaxy 500. The Ford Galaxy 500 was both a popular sedan for motorists and a mainstay on NASCAR circuits and drag strips. The choice year for the model, however, is definitively 1966, when the new 7.0-liter Thunderbird 5.8 was offered by Ford. 14. 1964 Ford Fairlane Thunderbolt. This homologation special from the Blue Oval only saw 100 units built, just enough to get into the NHRA Superstock Series. Spoiler, it won. It's a skunkworks project that was just magnificent. Power comes from a 7.0-liter V8 that makes 425 horsepower. Though, again, because everyone was sandbagging then, it's closer to 500 horsepower. A proper race car for the road, the Fairlane Thunderbolt ripped from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.7 seconds and ran a sub-12 quarter-mile. 13. 1963 Pontiac Catalina. In period, lightened versions of the NASCAR-derived Pontiac Catalina dominated drag strips. The two-door sports sedan packs a 421 HOV 8 mil, good for 370 horsepower, and Catalinas from the 1963 model year are particularly beloved for their Super Duty SD trim. Already crafted with lightweight parts, several examples also feature Swiss cheese frames, making their power-to-weight ratio even more impressive. Alas, the SD program would cease later that year due to GM's ban from racing, but the Catalina will always be a contender in our book. 12th. 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS convertible. The Chevelle Super Sport was an immensely popular muscle car during production. More than 51,455 examples of the model rolled off the General Motors line, though only 1,100 drop-top units were made. These convertible Chevelles are now selling for upwards of $70,000 when in solid condition. Base power in the top optional models is provided by the RPO L34, a 396 big block engine good for 350 ponies and 410 foot-pounds of twist. 11th. 1969 Pontiac GTO Judge convertible. While the original Pontiac GTO was a powerhouse and a stunner, the Judge trim afforded unique striping, chrome delete on the grille, and a body-colored spoiler, visually ensuring you knew this one was spicier than its cousins. The Judge features a 400 cubic inch V8 with a Ram Air 3 system that delivers 366 horsepower. By 1969, demand for convertibles had waned, and only 150 or so examples were produced, making it the rarest of the top trim. 10. 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner Superbird. If you want a 1970s stunner that can scream to 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds, a ludicrous time for those days, and has a horn that mimics the Looney Tunes Roadrunner character, Plymouth has your back. The big block V8, with twin Carter carburetors, officially produces 425 horsepower, though dyno testing showed that to be underrated, with the speed bomb actually creating 433 horsepower. Car and driver recorded the Superbird flying through the quarter mile at 13.5 seconds, running at 105 miles per hour, again, blisteringly quick for the era. For comparison, that shuffle is about on par with a 1999 Ferrari F355 Berlinetta. 9. 1969 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. Fittingly, Chevy only produced 69 examples of the 1969 Camaro ZL1, so when one turns up for auction, it hammers for staggering sums. One recently sold for north of $1 million per Haggerty. With powerful but sleek lines and dog-dish hubcaps, this was the fastest production car to emerge from the Bowtie brand, with some Camaro ZL1s setting low 11 seconds in the quarter mile. It was also woefully underrated, Official specs noted the ZL1 was 430 horsepower, but dyno tests revealed it was actually 525 horsepower. 8. 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona. With a rear wing seemingly ripped off of a jumbo jet, the 1969 Charger Daytona was at the forefront of the NASCAR Aero Wars. It would rapidly devolve into a band, though, and those lucky enough to snag one of the 505 units produced were in rarefied air. In Road Guys, that 7.0-liter 426 unleashed 425 horsepower, while race-tuned iterations crested more than 200 miles per hour on oval tracks. 7. 1969 Pontiac Firebird convertible, predating the ubiquitous variant of the Firebird with the hood emblazoned Screaming Chicken livery. That decal wasn't available until 1976. This carbon copy of the Chevrolet Camaro SS was widely popular, and more than 11,000 units were produced. Eventually, the Firebird edged out its Camaro cousin in the Speed Wars, thanks to a Ram air intake that would help boost the output by 15 horsepower. 6. 1970 Dodge Challenger Convertible, RT. Dodge dropped its now legendary 7.2-liter six-pack V8 into the Challenger RT convertible, one of the first applications of the prolific power plant, and one that put the car in a fairly exclusive class. Of the 2,921 Challenger RT convertibles made, only 99 had that six-pack V8, and only 61 of those were built with a 4-speed manual transmission. 5. 1971 Plymouth Cuda convertible. If you never want to see another Plymouth Cuda convertible on the road, except, of course, for the one you're piloting, opt for a 4-speed manual, Hemi Cuda drop top. Only 3 were made. Why? Convertibles were out of fashion by the 1970s, and insurance rates had skyrocketed for big block muscle machines. That confluence of factors led to Plymouth only selling a dozen Hemi Cuda convertibles in total. As it happens, this was also the last year that the 7.0-liter V8 was offered. 4. 1992 Dodge Viper RT/10. What's a list of the best muscle cars without the 1992 Dodge Viper RT/10? A bombastic 8.0-liter V10 lurks beneath that elongated bonnet, offering 400 horsepower and 450 foot-pounds of torque. It should be noted that this vehicle offers absolutely no stability control systems. No ABS, no traction control. It doesn't even have airbags. This Viper is a true driver's car for those eager to row their own gears and willing to risk feeling its fangs. 3. 1965 Shelby GT3 50R Fastback. Bless Carroll Shelby's incessant quest to find the ultimate intersection of unrelenting power and uncompromised poise. The Texan and his company manufactured 572 examples of the 1969 GT3 50R Fastback, with that R standing for race spec, indicating that the car complied with all the Sports Car Club of America SCCA racing rules. You could snap one up at the dealership and be at the track, turning laps that very afternoon. One of the examples was the winningest car in 1968, when it placed first in 32 of 54 SCCA races. 2. 1969 AMC AMX/3. Arguably the sexiest vehicle on this list, the AMC AMX/3 was created after AMC executives stared at the Di Tommaso Pantera for hours and tried their damnedest to emulate those achingly perfect lines. To be fair, AMC succeeded. The AMX/3 is stunning. With its engineering spearheaded by Giotto Bissarini, AMC's AMX3 was also mid-engined, featuring a 6.4-liter V8 nestled behind the occupants' heads. The car is noteworthy for 2 million reasons, which is the amount of dollars AMC dumped into development before pulling the plug. Adjusted for inflation, that's about $15 million today. Only 6 AMX3s exist, edging the valuation of each well above $750,000. 1. 1967 Shelby Cobra 427 Super Snake. Carroll Shelby was hell-bent on creating beasts for the streets, and the Shelby Cobra 427 Super Snake certainly fits the bill. Only 2 examples were produced. Yes, seriously, and only one remains. The curvaceous blue beauty you see here. In 2021, it went under the hammer for $5.5 million. The buyer received a beautiful coupe with a 427 cubic inch V8 mill that Shelby ratcheted up several notches with the addition of twin superchargers. The resulting output, a positively violent 800 horsepower. Subscribe now and join our journey through automotive history. Let me know if you'd like to tweak it further.